Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. It should be fun. All right, guys. Welcome. It is Friday. We got jobless claims here in 3 minutes. I'm a little late. I apologize, but let's just go into the charts really quick here. I mean, y'all know the game, right? E-mini down big yesterday, a little bit of a recovery overnight. Treasuries, we should keep an eye on those because we did have a news story the other day about China selling their treasuries, which could put downward pressure on the treasuries and cause a lot of havoc. And we are seeing the treasuries down a little bit, but of course, there's going to be a lot of cautious positioning into the jobs report going on here. Oil took a dive along with everybody else. Gold also diving. My gold not doing what it should do. Okay, and copper also a dive, but recovering quite significantly overnight. So the thing that I want to reiterate for you guys here is that the reason that we had this huge move down is because there has been an excessive amount of call buying, particularly in tech stocks. And it appears that there has been a large player doing this. Some people have been claiming that it's SoftBank, but I digress. There's no proof of that. Anyways, and that scheme basically blew up. That means that the tech names have been pushed and overvalued. That doesn't necessarily mean that the rest of the market is. So we can't necessarily just sell everything. There's going to be a lot of rotation. All right. That is, unless the jobs report ends up being really bad, and then we probably can just sell it. And heck, you could even see a circuit breaker if it's bad enough. But let's not build up our expectations. I don't think that what they're looking for on the estimate is all that crazy. So I think there's a good chance that it's going to be right in line with the number here. I personally, because we're seeing such light liquidity and so forth, I will not trade this. I choose not to trade. And yes, when yesterday was a lot of fun. Probably my favorite stream ever. I was rewatching it yesterday after Win found the timestamps and reposted them. And I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious to watch. And you guys in chat were so funny. Prodding each other earlier in the session and everything. It was really great. Okay, so we got about 10 seconds here. Again, I'm not going to trade the jobless claims news. We're just going to watch. Let me get rid of Bitcoin here. Okay, so initial move up. Okay, it's 1,300. So it's wait, am I reading that right? Yes, 1,371, slightly less than the expectation. But we want to see the hourly earnings. Hourly earnings spot 4 versus 0. Ooh. So the So we were thinking that maybe hourly earnings would move down because we're not getting as much government assistance. And it appears that is not the case at the moment. Yeah, I thought that it was 1.4, but I was reading that's the non-farms payroll private number is the. Okay, so that's Interesting. And average weekly hours is about on in line. This is gonna be a zoo. What's Igar posting here? Um, Economists warned the data will also confirm that the recovery and rehiring are slowing. Right.
Uzi Knesset says spike in government payrolls gotta be census takers, eh?
Yes. But, well, let's see here. So government payrolls was 344,000. So if we take that out, okay, so it was under expectation. Let's just remember 1,371K. You take out the, like let's say the 40,000 from, you know, we're still above 1,300. So I don't know if it's significant or not. You can see that the market likes it. I think the market likes it because it just wasn't a disaster, first of all, and because the hourly earnings was good. That means that the concerns that we've had over the unemployment, like falling over a cliff when we don't have the unemployment from the government anymore, the extended benefits, it's still not showing up in the numbers, and it's been like 2 reports now, right? So I guess we're okay on that front. I think it may be the case that most places really have completely opened, and the places that haven't, the Democrat areas that are seeing a lot of unemployment, have pretty solid state benefits. So maybe? I don't know. Liquidity is still pretty awful. So I think I'm just gonna stay away from this. This looks like something that'll just chew your account up. I could take an experimental trade. We could do that, but I don't see a reason to do anything yet. Here's the thing. The jobs report is a really big deal, but now that it's through, and I don't see anything in this that like really changes like my long-term view of things, okay? So if that's the case, then I think we go back to this gamma story, right? Let's talk here in chat. Okay. Yeah, they took a let's see here. How far did they come up there? A good 10-point swing up. I don't know, good 10-point swing down. Very interesting. Now the treasuries took a dive on that. The treasuries took a pretty good dive on that. I think this is where you would want to trade it if we were going to trade it, is in the treasury. Is the ZB taking it?
Salim L. Wuthering says the 7th time in a week I am first on your live.
You are? No, I think Win is. Yeah, Win was first. Sorry, Salim. You and Win are gonna have to battle it out for top fan. And don't
Salim
worry.
Weathering says, what do I get?
Don't worry, Uzi. You will always be there in at the top in terms of the first top fan. Oh man, this channel would not be what it is without Uzi. He was really the one that first came in and started chatting with us and really made the YouTube chat what it is, man. I this channel owes a lot to Uzi. So
Uzi Knesset says, I'm a malignant cancer. Winking face. Salim L. Weathering says, I concede to Winston's mom.
You're welcome, Uzi. Oh man. I gotta be careful. You're gonna make me laugh while I'm drinking, and it'll cause a spit take. He concedes. I really wish that YouTube had a way to gift subscriptions. Oh, by the way, I changed up the emojis. You want to see? So we still have the gay bear, right? We still got the gay bear. Okay. Sorry, we shouldn't call it gay bear. It's a rainbow bear. We got to be politically
Speculator
correct.
Sept Day Trading says, _SPS bear.
Yeah. But now I because we don't have a GIF, I just kind of took the best frame out of the GIF. So here's Seth Panic. Yeah. Yeah. Do I look panicked? Look at the way that my eyes, I mean, there is like white all around. That is
Sept Day
like
Trading says, _SPS panic. Winston's mom says, thank you. Salim L. Weathering Heights. I will wield my conceded power gracefully.
but that you can see that is like I've seen death in that picture. And then you guys wanted a better bowl.
Salim L. Weathering says, politically correct bear.
And then you guys wanted a better bowl, so I went and made a picture from the Wall Street bowl.
Says, oops. Winston's mom says, Uzi Knesset, are you a Cancer in astrology? Cancers can be considered psychics. Speculator Seth Day Trading says, _SPS bowl.
Yep, and you can still do a kangaroo
I survived the Great September Crash.
Yes. There's a kangaroo.
Speculator Seth Day Trading says kangaroo.
Because this is a kangaroo market, right? Gotta remember that one. So.
Uzi Knesset says, I'm an Aries lol.
Wait, what's that talking about? Astrology signs now? I think I'm like a Gemini? I don't remember.
Vlad Stolyarov says, I only took S futures long yesterday one time in channel mode.
Oh, really?
Vlad Stolyarov says, since I missed the morning drop. Salim L. Weathering says, I like the bear but to the rainbow part.
Well, so if when we get new members, if people, so again,
Vlad
to post those
Stolyarov
emojis,
says they had dip buying divergence.
Yeah, to get those emojis, it's $1 a month. That's the lowest I can make it.
Vlad Stolyarov says while prices traded lower end of day, they were accumulating. Winston's mom says, Uzi Knesset, your sun sign is Aries but is your moon a Cancer? Sun is logos, moon is ethos. Or maybe you are a Cancer rising?
Oh my. Astrology, guys. Astrology, my favorite subject. No, so if you click the join button down below, you can join the channel so that you can get those widgets. It's $1 a month. That's the lowest I can make it. And once we get a few members, then we can add more emojis. So I think you need 2 members and then it will unlock 3 more.
Uzi Knesset says, I'm still alive and it pisses me off. That's all I know.
I hear you. Okay. I got you. You wanted the coronavirus to kill you? Is that working hard, cleaning everything, thought you were going to catch it, nothing happened? Okay, so liquidity's looking okay now. They're not quite but 100s up. I'd like to see 100s up on the E-mini, but the treasuries, it looks fine.
Uzi Knesset says, I was hoping. Then it turns out it's weak as fuck unless you're 200 years old or some shit. Uzi Knesset says, I guess I'll have to wait for the cigarettes to do it.
Did you guys read that in Australia?
Salim L. Weathering says at Uzi Knesset. Vlad Stolyarov says scenario is nobody cares about NASDAQ, too much rotation continues, best case.
Maybe. Did you guys hear that in Australia that they don't think that they're going to be able to like open back up until December? Like, what the heck? What? It's not that bad over there in Australia, is it? That's just insane. That just seems crazy to me. That they overreacting? I don't know. It's the whole thing is crazy. I wish.
Winston's mom says, I think Yoda wants an emoji, and I just realized he should be holding your Trader's Gonna Trade mug.
That would be great if he wasn't a cardboard cutout. Oh, man.
Vlad Stolyarov says scenario is nobody cares about NASDAQ, too much rotation continues, best case. Vlad Stolyarov says ranges expanded, trading will be wild. Uzi Knesset says Australia trying to keep itself cheap so the Chinese can buy it. Vlad Stolyarov says big moves again that I love.
So what do you think? Do you think that we're going to have an update? I mean, the jobs report wasn't exactly good. Yeah, actually, the unemployment rate increased 0.1%. No, it increased 0.3%. I was like, good.
Vlad Stolyarov says inside at least in SPY should hold.
Yeah. I think I don't think I'm going to take any trades today. I really I'm just thinking about it, and like I have really screwed things up before in on Fridays. And the range, the volatility is so high here, and since we didn't get a really clear news read here, I'm not so sure that I have a really good trade. So I think I'm just gonna kind of chill. If I do take a trade, it might be a sim trade in the treasuries short. I'm concerned about the treasuries, okay? But yeah.
Vlad Stolyarov says so you can wait for clear picture if you scared to take right away longs.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what we should be doing. So, fix this Fidelity workspace up a little bit. Tesla is lower in the overnight trading. Oh, I take that back. No, they did go lower in overnight trading, but they're right at the basically yesterday's close. And Apple looks pretty low too. And our REM, they went up to 1.25 at one point. Was that yesterday? Yeah, that was yesterday. Because today is the 4th. Then they kind of chilled off. So, let's see here. One's got a ton of stuff here.
Sam T says it's not. They extended border closure till December. Even state borders are closed. Sam T says it's crazy down here. Going for elimination.
You don't think that it's crazy, huh? Okay. I mean, the how negative of an impact do you think it's going to have on the Australian economy? Because right now I'm like really bearish on them, but maybe I'm, I don't know.
Winston's
really
mom
know.
says NASDAQ news just reported. The weekly jobless claims are increasingly difficult to read. In part, a new seasonal adjustment is being used, but more importantly, going forward. Winston's mom says the benefits are increasingly going to be exhausted. This will produce lower numbers of continuing claims but will not represent an improvement in the labor market. Winston's mom says note that the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, which extends benefits to the self-employed and gig workers, increased its rolls by 152K to 759K last week. Popular No V Bulgaria says AMD short.
You want to go short AMD?
Says everything in NASDAQ stocks already exceeded all their projections, so we shouldn't make new highs in QQQ. Winston's mom says the median forecast in the Bloomberg survey stands at 1.35 mln for today's non-farm payrolls, down from 1.76 mln in July. The unemployment rate is expected to slip to 9.8%.
No, it was 10.2. And note the seasonal adjustment factor was a net additive in recent months, and today's report, it became a net drag. Yes, seasonally, it's down in August, and I think that they're using the new adjustment so that it's not as bad. Okay, so we should just keep in mind that the high pivot in the overnight of this last move was 34.84, a possible upside target. We are getting some pretty solid uptrend, but I have no reason to. Well, actually, I take that back. I actually here is kind of like the line where buyers no longer have money. So
Salim L. Wuthering says I am never trading ES again. Same order flow is choppy and all over the place. Just contract sizes are bigger.
Yeah.
Sam T says sorry. Sam T says I mistyped.
It's
Sam
crazy.
T says it's crazy.
Agree.
I agree.
Okay. You're okay. So I'm not. Because I'm just. Why do you think that they're doing it? Do you think that they're overreacting? Because when we started to see an increase, I don't think that this increase is worse than like what's happening in Germany, right?
Vlad Stolyarov says the prices yesterday was choppy, so you wouldn't know what they did.
Is it worse than what's happening in Europe? Because Europe, when they started to see an increase in cases, they said, no, we don't need to.
Prices diverged down for shakeout.
They didn't need to shut down again.
Sam T says economic damage will be massive. Every FKN Sol here has an investment property with negative yields after expenses. Gonna end up like Ireland crash or Spain.
Ooh, man, really? I mean, that's really because the Aussies have always been really good at this stuff. Do you think? I also read a story that the former Prime Minister of Australia was criticizing it, which you usually don't. Once you're stop being president, you shut up. So for him to come out and say that is a fairly significant criticism, you know. And I do see the VIX is coming down overnight, by the way. This is going to be interesting. I think that we may end up having a positive day today. I doubt they would retrace the whole thing from yesterday, but I bet you they're going to try.
Winston's mom says NATO meets today, and 2 European issues are center stage. The first is a dispute between Greece and Turkey over what appears to be large gas finds in waters that Ankara claims.
You find it interesting that after that initial story that I haven't seen much in the news about that one. Okay, so important note here from Zero Hedge on the unemployment. Employment in government increased by 344,000.
Winston's mom says the second issue is the Navalny poisoning. Some formal response is necessary.
The census accounted for 1/4 of the total gains. So let's say that it take off 100,000. So if you take off 100,000, if the non-farms payroll was 1271 versus the estimate of 1,400, what do you think then? Would that change your opinion of the jobs number? I don't think 100,000 would be enough to change anything. No trade deal. Brexit fears rise as talks stuck on state aid. Chances of Britain leaving the EU without a trade deal have risen sharply as negotiations have been threatened by London insistence that it have full autonomy over its state aid plans. Well, of course they should. Man, that is a... I tell you what the Europeans are trying to do over there, sometimes I'm like, what the hell? But that must just be my American independence independent feeling about things. I just, every step of the way, I'm like, they are so doing the right thing if this is the way that Europe is going to act. So on Twitter, somebody said, PIQ said, "We done for the day then?" And Ranswalk says, "Can't believe you disrespect the Baker Hughes rig count like that." Oh, man. Interestingly, stock's not reacting to the non-farms payroll the same way bonds did. Well, the bonds always trade more off of that news because there's more liquidity. Ransquawk, when I was new in this game, I was always told to trust the bond guys
Sam
more
T
than
says,
the
I think
equity guys and
fundamentally Oz is
FX
different to
guys.
US or EU. They want
Sensationalists.
minimal deaths down here. If it saves lives, it's not overreaction in their eyes. We're getting 120 cases per day and dropping. Sam T says lefties want to eliminate the virus. Right-wing leaning politicans want to open up ASAP and open international borders too. Left doesn't agree. Salim L. Wuthering says, I wanted to write down my stratting setup and found myself writing, look at the water flowing, whirling, twirling. Watch the birds chirping. Is that normal? Vlad Stolyarov says,
That was a good little poem there. Yeah, the left wants to eliminate the virus. Right wing want to open up. Well, so do you think...
Vlad Stolyarov says another text bear emoji.
There you go. There's a bear emoji. Do you think that if Joe Biden won the presidential nomination, that they would still want to close the economy?
Winston's mom says, Salim L. Wuthering, have you taken an MBTI test? Because that sounds like an INFP comment. T-Bone21 says, no matter what happens, I will be at home looking at charts and ordering delivery, lol.
Okay. Okay, U6 fell nicely while the rise in participation is encouraging. So it does appear that the overall read from the payroll is positive, but it doesn't look like... I mean, a lot of people are saying that the effect
Winston's
would just
mom says, and
increase.
everyone watching now, before I ask you all to hit the like button, Salim L. Wuthering has a new channel and some very pretty music accompanies his charts.
Oh, yeah?
T-Bone21 says the economy will close regardless if ordered by president or not. People's fear will keep them at home if virus spreads like wildfire.
Okay, so T-Bone, if that's the case, then why do we need a government-mandated shutdown? This is something that continues to perplex me. As we have people, they were saying in the United States that we didn't do a complete and total shutdown and that we needed to do a complete and total shutdown.
Salim L. Wuthering says at Winston's mom, what's INFP? I am taking it right. Oh, love ya, thanks for the support.
That's a personality type.
T-Bone21 says people only think about the elves. No thought on the community.
Mm.
Vlad Stolyarov says there is no fear if you need to earn money to eat when government doesn't supply stimulus.
I mean, it's been an interesting evolution of the argument, right? First it was, we need to shut everything down because too many people are going to catch it and overwhelm the hospitals. Okay. Now it turns out that the models that we used to make that initial decision were flawed, but even then it probably was a wise thing. Shut down for 2 weeks. Okay. Shut down for 2 weeks. Now, people say it doesn't matter if you open up the economy because people will still stay home. Okay, so if people will still stay home, then why does the government need to officially close things down anyways? So then we shut things down. And we left it up to the states because honestly, I don't think that the president has the authority to shut down everything the way that Fauci wanted people to do. So we go through all of that. And it was supposed to be 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks is turned into like 2 months. What's with that? So then the Republicans, they want to open things back up again, and like in my state, we opened things back up and it's been just fine. I mean, people are social distancing, and so it seems like even though the virus is spreading, it's not doing so very quickly because everybody's wearing masks. So then you get it. Then you have to go into the mask argument, where a bunch of people don't think that the masks work, which I'm telling you, it's just the scientific evidence, and I've looked this up a lot because my wife makes the masks. That it very clearly does prevent the spread because the spread is primarily through water droplets. So then here again, if the masks work, why do we need to keep things shut down? If the masks work, then why do we need to have things still be shut down? If the economy is not going to open back up anyways, that people are going to stay home, then why do you need to make a government law to tell them to stay home? I'm sorry, but somewhere along the line, there's an assumption, or somebody's being loose with the facts in there somewhere, right? I think that the reality is that it's perfectly safe to open back up if people wear masks. And I also think the reality is that people overall are doing the responsible thing enough to, prevent a disaster at least, and that government force is not necessary. And I think that people are pushing the government force either because they are just what is predisposed to favor government force like that, or because they think they're going to benefit from it somehow, either because they want more government power or because they want to hurt the administration. But I just fail to see what is wrong with the current public policy in the United States. I think it's fine. We never reached hospital capacity. That's the best we can do. And another thing is that it doesn't seem to me that any of this other stuff really has an impact on the number of people that die. The only thing that has an impact on the number of people that die is how effectively you shelter the elderly population from it. Am I wrong? New York really fucked up on that one, and that's why their death rate is so ridiculously high. If you take them out, it's really been quite good in the United States.
Sam T says plus no guarantee Biden wins. 538 blog gives Trump 30% of winning, same as Hillary in 2016.
Yeah. So you know what? I've been doing a little bit of, because Nate Silver's been tweeting a lot this week. And so the in trade market, the predicted market, they came back to 50-50 from Biden being 60%. Now it's 50-50. And Nate Silver is saying that they're overestimating Donald Trump's chances, essentially. And he's got his model that says 30% chance of Trump winning. And just based on how Nate Silver's model works, I have some really serious problems with the way that it works. Of course, we don't know all of the details, but I will tell you one of the things that they kind of do is they're looking at each state, and they're doing this model where they split things out and they say, okay, what are the different combinations? Okay. Like how how many different ways can the states go? And which one of those possibilities result in a Trump win and which one of those result in a Biden win? And that kind of will give you like an overall view of like how is the electoral college affect the overall race? And then they go in and they try to do some things to try and uh, see like which one of those are more likely or not. So I think that the way that the model works is kind of has two issues there because some of those scenarios have like zero chance of happening, right? But then number two is that your overall polling numbers right now are likely to be very inaccurate. In fact, some people are saying that because of shy Trump voters, that probably Donald Trump is up 3%. Is undercounted by 3% in the swing states. Okay. So if that's true, Donald Trump is winning right now. Like if that's true and the election was held today, Donald Trump would win. Right? How do you predict that? I think that I would love to see Nate Silver be dead wrong. And why? Because I think that society has made a mistake. Should I say it? A mistake? I think we're wrong about something. I think that we said, okay, statistics, like we need to use statistics and facts and stuff to base our choices and stuff like that. But we made the mistake of thinking that past data can predict future data, and it doesn't. And so in that respect, a model like that is essentially worthless because each race is going to be different, and that's why his model failed spectacularly before. And I think that there's a good chance it will fail spectacularly this election. And I think that it is very pertinent to trading because this is the mistake that traders make over and over and over again is they'll go and they'll do something for a month and they'll say, okay, well, you follow this setup and over a month you have a positive expectancy. And the problem is that past performance is not indicative of future results. Right? I'll be right back. Let's see here.
Sam T says in all of these models, they can't model tail risk. Taleb was highly critical of Nate Silver.
Yeah. I really want to get into Taleb's books. I haven't read them yet because I think that he has a general point. And I like the thing that I think is so funny is that when I look at like major guys on the technical analysis side, they seem to all be telling us the same thing, right? Which is that trading off of technical analysis is stupid. And I think that Taleb would tell you that. I think Taleb would tell you that technical analysis doesn't work. That you need a more sophisticated way of analyzing things, and that the thing that the technicals will do for you best is to help you analyze the tail risk, right? I think no one can predict it, Seth. Tail risk, those models can't predict tail risks, can't turn human behavior or unpredictability into equations. Well, but you can set up your funds and stuff in a way to. I mean, his whole thing is basically you can plan for the tail risk, and if you're using the right kinds of statistics, you can come up with something that actually does make money off of that sort of a thing. Yeah. Noobs never think about hedging. Institutional traders hedge all the time. Yeah. Yeah, technicals work as long as there are open positions in the previous days. When they're out, it's becoming hope there's someone there. Yeah. So the thing is, when I'm noticing, or what I have come to find, is that if you have a market where the number of participants in that market is constant, then there are some things that I can predict from the technicals. Because essentially I can look at, okay, here's how many people are in the market. Like if I knew for sure that there's 100 people that are going to trade this market today and that's it. And I can look at positions and I can say, "Oh, okay, well, there are 100 long positions out there right now." That means that literally everybody in the market is long. And if literally everybody in the market is long, then that means that the only choice, the only thing that can happen at that point is that price will go down as they sell. Like straight up, that would be 100% prediction, right? And this is essentially what my model tries to do, is it tries to say, based on the positions that are open right now, where do people make money and lose money? Okay. But the problem is that when new participants enter the market, the old participants' positions don't necessarily matter, because you could have, you know, a crazy flood of people come in that vastly overwhelms the existing participants and just makes what the existing participants think completely irrelevant. And so this whole thing of like, oh, it's all reflected in the chart and everything is like, well, the chart can't tell you that that new group of people is going to come in. It just simply can't. Right? Just like penny stocks, sometimes they run because everything is liquid with volume. After the run is over, there's no interest in holding those prices. Vlad, why do you think institutional traders always right and they're not noobs too? Well, I mean, the whole thing is what the institutional trader does to make a market is way more sophisticated than what we do, for sure. And it requires a lot of capital that most traders don't have. So, is scalping like a losing game? I mean, I've been doing pretty okay with it lately, but there's certainly problems with it in there. Anyways. True to an extent, Black-Scholes model assumes market crashes happen rarely. In reality, they happen all the time. No wonder they created LTCM and it went bust equations and models. Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that like, even if a model is useful, this is where I think that we get messed up, is that I think that there's another evolution that needs to happen. Okay. There's two evolutions here, right? The first one is the red pill of trading. The red pill of trading is that technical analysis will not lead you to profitability. Right? If you trade purely off of technical analysis, you are extremely unlikely to make money. And if you do, it was probably luck. Okay? That's the red pill. The second evolution, and the one that I think that even some of the most sophisticated retail names in the space have not figured out, or at the very least have not been able to, properly explain, is that just because technical analysis will not lead you to profitability doesn't mean that it's useless. I'm thinking about making a video this weekend about this instead of some of the stuff that I was planning on, because, Jigsaw is getting into their charts and stuff, and I've just been thinking about it, and I'm like, there's a bunch of things that Jigsaw really needs to add. So I think I'm going to make a video, send it over to him, and see what we can get them to do to try to add a couple of things that I think are really important. And I'll explain why I think that they're useful, while at the same time showing why they don't really make you money. But, technicals, in the kind of technicals that we use, especially like Bollinger Bands and stuff, the reason they're useful is because they can tell you if a particular market movement is unusual, and they can tell you, when we're off of a really strong trend. So you can use it to kind of judge what your risk reward is going to be. The problem is that they just aren't predictive, right? And so you might have a thing where you take it and you have a 30% chance of it happening, but then the amount that it's going to move, it's it kind of all comes out. It's kind of all arbitraged out, right? But if you can combine it with something else, like an actual probabilistic edge based on the news and the fundamentals, then that's where you can gain profitability, essentially. And I really haven't heard that spelled out by anyone other than here. So I'm gonna make a video about it. I think I'm gonna need to make some back tests that I've kind of done, but not like I didn't make one that was just like formal I could show you. So I think, in fact, maybe we could do that right now. What do you guys think? I'm still just not. Well, we got 12 minutes. Let's watch the E-mini open first, and then if I'm still kind of like, then we'll do a little bit of programming. All right. Thanks for all of the clips, Win. Igor says Bloomberg Terminal is fun but overrated. Koifin has basically all the same features. Pricing. Koifin is currently free. Oh, do I have an account there? I don't think I do. Oh, I guess I do already have one. Oh, yes, I do kind of remember this site now. But they don't have the news. What are you backtasking? I want to prove why. I want to prove what is the best moving average. Yeah.
Sam T says you can make money swing trading. I do it all the time. The trick is stop losses in your entry point, catalysts, news and etc. It's not just ta. Gotta be combined like Seth says.
But you can't make money swing trading futures off TA with proper risk management. Yeah. I mean that's the whole thing is I believe that the technical edge in the market has been completely arbitraged out. That doesn't mean that you should ignore technicals. In fact, if anything, it tells you that you should continue to pay attention to them, because the market wouldn't have bothered arbitraging them out if they didn't mean something, right? But it does mean that it's not going to give you edge. It's base. It's what I like to call base. It will get you to break even, but it won't give you an edge. Hmm. Somebody just showing me a back test on the unemployment trade. You'd have to be able to read the numbers. What are you saying here, Win?
Winston's mom says, problem with liquidity in U.S. financial markets is the Treasury not producing enough low-denomination coins. Doesn't make sense.
So I tell you what, let's write the video here while we're... You guys want to help me write it? We'll see if there's anything that I am including that you guys are not. Or sorry, that I'm including that you guys think should be added. See all of my stupid notes for when I record. The thing that's the worst is I will look down after I finish the sentence and I want to restart the take. And so it makes it so that I can't cut the video in the right spot. And then my eyes will be too watery because my eyes just water a lot. Anyways. Bum 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 bum. We will put it in here. What is this one? Oh, this is the stuff about bonds. Let's put it before the bond stuff. Day trading strategy. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Okay, we want it right here. I want to make a video where I make fun of all of these guys that are pushing courses and stuff. Not because I think that an education course is always a bad thing or that an indicator or strategy is always a bad thing. But the problem that I have with it is that the case that they always make is that they're saying you should follow me, and I don't think that that's correct. Okay, so we're going to say this is going to be best technical indicators. Okay. And you were saying that VWAP is 1. Okay. So for sure, VWAP is moving average, CCI. And then I also want to talk about spreads, dollar index. I'm also going to include internals in there because there's some things that you can do with internals on spreading. And I think there's some more. What more was it?
Gary Rich says, who said Bloomberg Terminal is overrated? Please slap the shit out of yourself. Bloomberg is a professional suite of products.
Yeah, so Gary, it was somebody in Discord. You can go see in the equity indexes. I was just, the thing that I was agreeing with him on was I think that the real value in the Bloomberg terminal is the news. You get more news and faster news from Bloomberg than anything else. And that makes it the big deal. Them treasuries are still moving down. I think that I missed my chance to take a trade. I was hoping that the 10-year was going to come up to 18.5, but it didn't. And then they dropped. And I don't know if I can just take it here now. I mean, I'm super tempted, but oh wow, they're at yesterday's low. Maybe I can just oh no, except for that, I don't want to mess with 16. We're gonna have to wait for a pullback. retail, still buying every tip. What is the best platform for futures options trades? Asks Robbie Manny. If you go to my main channel page, and you will find it pretty quickly, I have a video called "What is the best futures trading software platform?" And I will explain why I use what I do. But I use NinjaTrader and Jigsaw Day Trader. For options, I don't know. I don't feel that there is yet a platform that is perfectly suited for both futures, stocks, and options. I think that at some point NinjaTrader is supposed to get there, but it is still a work in progress. So for now, probably your best bet is going to be Thinkorswim, but there's problems with Thinkorswim, so I don't want to say that it's like amazing or anything. Man, what am I missing? Oh yes, cumulative delta. Cumulative delta. Am I missing what's another really good indicator that we need to use, that we need to include? Oh yes. We also need to have here Bollinger Bands. ATR. I don't see China moving out its treasuries going into EU bonds at negative real yields. Let me find the story. They have one about it on CNBC about the treasury selling. Have you tried keyword web scraping as an indicator? I have not. I know there are people that do that. The Ghost Squawks guys kind of do that, but I'm a little skeptical about how effective it would be for me, because the majority of guys are trading stocks and not macros. So. Where is do they have a story about it on CNBC? China. News. China may dump U.S. treasuries. There's an article from Reuters. Yes. What are you saying, Uzi?
Uzi Knesset says that's the big leagues there.
You're referring to what Dan said about web scraping? I'm sure that there's probably some use to it for trading stocks. Gotcha. He says yes. On Eurobonds, stocks and need to be connected inside the network. Also, it's good for research, but retails don't need it. It's really overrated. You don't need it. Oh, Gary, retails don't need Bloomberg paying 30K USD yearly for just information packet. It's not good, but good for brokers and banks who make trades. Yeah, so I would yeah.
Gary Rich says China dumping treasuries is about as relevant as wonder if your Chinese food is made from local cats and dogs.
You don't think that that it matters at the moment? Well, you might be right, Gary. But all I'm saying is that the treasuries are now below yesterday's lows, and I don't think that the unemployment numbers that we got alone justify that. Alligator saying that he doesn't see much more downside in the treasuries today. So, and I do see that they're kind of like at their breaking point. Like, I can't justify a short here. So, anyways, so I'm gonna make a video, best technical indicators. I'm sure that that'll get a lot of clicks, and we can provide some useful information. So the ones I got on there: VWAP, cumulative delta, moving averages, CCI, Bollinger Bands, ATR, spreads, and the dollar index are things that I want to talk about. I don't know if the dollar index really counts as technical analysis, but I'm going to put it in there because I think that this should be included in the platform, or it could be included in the platform. And I have an indicator, and I'm going to give it to you guys. I was hesitating giving it out because, one, there's kind of some problems with it. Like, it's been crashing us, right? And two, I was like, hey, this could be valuable. But now I'm saying, well, because there's some problems with it, maybe that's why I shouldn't try and sell it and just give that one to you guys for free. So I think I'm going to give away the dollar index one in the video. That's what I think we're going to do. You can see that the dollar has moved up to 93 again. Interesting. Okay. Well, you guys aren't saying anything, so I assume that that means that you don't really care about any other technical indicators. Nope. China needs treasuries for managing dollar-funded debt, reserve ratios, collateral funding, and more. Well, yeah, but Gary, I'm not sure if you've read this story or not, so let me just try and explain to make sure we're on the same page. The story is that the financial wonks, the guys at the financial school, so it wasn't coming from the government so much as it was from the financial school, although it was coming through the Global Times. Anyways, the economic scholars are saying that China could reduce its holdings of U.S. treasuries by 20%, citing concerns over the rising debt in particular. So what I'm saying is that China is basically saying or threatening to sell treasuries at the moment. And I believe that that may be a significant factor in why we moved down as far as we did in the treasuries after the unemployment news. Yeah, are we in the same spot? Do you still think that doesn't matter at the moment? Are you think it's a long? I mean, we could buy it. Totally buy it up. Okay, well, since you guys aren't saying anything about that, I'm just going to move that back over here. And we will pull up we'll let the indexes go here on the open for a bit first, and then see what happens, okay? So we're going to start at 34.60 or so. Oh, aggressive selling on the open. Wow. Wow. Vlad says he's eating breakfast, and we'll let it play out. Yeah. Okay, so there's initial downturn. It looks like they're going to give the bulls their chance early, which is nice.
Gary Rich says yes, but what would they replace that collateral with? Euro, yen, pounds, Swiss, CAD. Reducing treasury holdings doesn't affect us, maybe it does prices.
Right. I think you're right. I don't know what they replace it with. I'm going to guess that they would replace it with um, emerging economies. That they would put it into all of, trying to buy out Africa and stuff. But reducing holdings doesn't affect us. Maybe it does prices, and that's what I'm getting at is that if China's, I'm worried that China's going to come out here and is going to be causing a lot of selling in the futures. Is basically the gist of what I'm concerned about. I'm not saying that it's going to have like a net negative impact on the United States. Like it seems to me that because China has been selling, and when they've been selling, it has depressed the prices in the treasuries, but it hasn't really affected the U.S. economy. So I'm not suggesting that at all. When do you think China will come out with their own digital? I have no clue. I'll be just as surprised as you are. I only know that they're testing it, and the United States is apparently starting to test it too. They're working with MIT. If the order flow is aggressive, wait for 11 a.m. Well, there was a pretty aggressive sell. Buyers are working it out here. I'm seeing some action that is suggestive of dip buying, but it's a little too early for me to really know.
I2 Yanth Great says maybe they're buying Bitcoin full moon face.
Yeah, well, I think that a lot of the Bitcoin action was coming from China, but I think that that's probably died down because, um, they really tamped down on it. I'm concerned for Bitcoin in the short term now. That does seem that and I really do believe that there's manipulators in Bitcoin, that the manipulators were trying to push it to 15K, but it's overbought, and now you're getting the Korean exchanges are all getting busted and stuff. And Korea was a significant factor in the rise. So if you lose Korea, that's not good. So I'm kind of wondering if Bitcoin is gonna really be able to hold that 10K for long. I'm gonna be watching carefully over the weekend to see if they hold it. Oops, I might have missed some headlines here. Ryan the Great said I hadn't heard that Korea news. Yeah, so I will explain briefly what I remember. 2 days ago when the Bitcoin price like really sold off and they dumped below 1100, if you'll recall. The reason was because BitHub, the largest Korean cryptocurrency exchange, was raided by federal authorities, by the Korean government essentially, and they were accused of securities fraud of some sort, where they had like made a deal with somebody to put out a coin, and they like did funding and everything, and then they took all of the money and didn't actually give people coins, and that's why they got raided. So, and that was like the second or third raid. So I don't think that means that like Korea is going to ban it, but it's probably going to significantly deter investing in Bitcoin over in Korea. And since Korea was such a significant part of the global, I mean, it used to be, it was turning into that the market didn't move until Korea, you know? I don't know if that's still true, but Dave Portnoy says, I saved the stock market this morning. Okay, Dave. if that's why the S&P 500 futures turned around at the open and are now positive, then we should be selling it. Yes, Winston says. She's reading it out for you. I won't read it, but ding 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 ding.
Winston's mom says, we are seeing a significant unwinding of leverage positions in Bitcoin and major alternative cryptocurrencies on BitHum News. Matthew Dibb, co-founder of Stack.
So I'm not seeing excessive sell side absorption, although I would expect to see it somewhere around here. I guess there's a little bit going on there at 76. Suck Atawal says lots of talk that Bitcoin needs to fill the CME gap at 9.7K. Gotcha. Yeah, well, I'm really concerned about so 11K was like a significant technical break that kind of turned some momentum in favor of the bears, I think. But then there's this psychological level at 10K that if we fell 10K, then I think that a lot of holders will freak out. So I'm thinking that if we go below 10K, that it will probably go a lot further than just 9.7. What's Gary saying here?
Gary Rich says China doesn't want crypto to fully be accepted in their country. Why? Their citizens will be able to transfer money out of the country. China wanted HK in order to essential transfer or funnel money.
Yeah, I tell you, one of the most insane things that I think I ever saw was when the news came out that China was doing their own cryptocurrency and Bitcoin was buying on the news. I'm like, guys, that is like the worst thing that could happen for Bitcoin. That means that all of that because all of the crypto miners were in China, right? That means that they're all finished. Okay, so I actually did. If we had taken 76, it would have ended up being an okay short, but I don't. I mean, there's still some dip buying in here. And they're not making it back to the open. That's
I2 Yanth Great says that's true. I2 Yanth Great says but the state will still want to own Bitcoin and they can sell China digital instead. I2 Yanth Great says like couldn't the Chinese state sell a Bitcoin derivative product that is just rigged lol?
they're just going to make you use their cryptocurrency, and then they'll prevent you from moving it out of the country. So I'm noticing that the chart at the bottom is just falling out in the 30-year. They really moved down. Okay. Dip buyers trying to hold it there. I'm not seeing enough of a volume in any one individual spot to really give me like the confidence that I would need to take a trade, you know? So Well, there was something there at 65. U.S. Vice President Pence reiterates stimulus can't be used to bail out states. This is going to continue to be the sticking point, won't it? Uh,
Vlad Stolyarov says got to think like retail and do opposite when they hope it goes up, you short when they panic buy. Gary Rich says someday the CBs will develop their digital currency, it's coming. Poor Satoshi claiming decentralized. RIP.
So there's the first really big iceberg that I'm seeing, and it's on the bid. It'll really be interesting what the Bitcoin advocates will do once central bank cryptocurrencies are available, because the Bitcoin advocates have always kind of pushed well, this is the way of the future. You can make transactions with it, yada yada yada. That was the thing that they were always pushing, right? And then we started having problems with the block space. Hold up. Okay, so this is a confirmation of the story that Pelosi and Mnuchin have agreed in principle on a deal that would push the government funding past the election. So that's good, but probably not an impact. Okay, so they did move lower here, by the way. Yeah, now everyone thinks it's digital gold. So when it stopped being used, they all moved over to this argument. And I really think it was that Bitcoin Core pushed over to this. So the issue in Bitcoin has really been that it got taken over by people that just have an economic theory that's bunk. So, so they kind of moved over to the digital gold thing. When central bank cryptocurrencies become a thing, then they're really going to have to rely on that, right? Because then the argument is really the reason you want to buy Bitcoin is because it's not controlled by a central bank. And that's an argument that they've been avoiding making. You know what I mean? Because they know that the larger public, and especially the investing class, is never going to go for that.
Winston's mom says Gary Rich, I am reading Wired and they have an article that says, the underlying technology is different as the blockchain ledger will be controlled by the government. Winston's mom says and not distributed across the system. Finally, it is intended to operate exactly like a normal currency and integrated throughout the commercial system. Winston's mom says because the ledger is held by the government and is not distributed to mining nodes, the currency won't have the time lags associated with Bitcoin, making it practical to use in everyday situations. Winston's mom says also, because it is released by the government and pegged to the valuation of the yuan, it won't be traded in fractions.
Well, that's maybe the Chinese one. So that's interesting because I would think that they would be trying very hard to have at least some degree of distribution, just that the central government would still be able to control things. Like the way that the government would be able to control things would be like issuing new currency, whereas in Bitcoin it has to be mined.
Gary Rich says you would think the drop in job rates from 10% to 8.4% the MKT would bid this up. More underlying economic data starts to matter from now on. The Nas is having a hard time getting to lead the rest.
You think that? Well, I think that honestly, Gary, I think that the gamma explosion is more important.
Vlad Stolyarov says job number is always rigged.
like let's go back because we didn't really get time to go into this in the morning because I was late, but moving down. So there's a new regular session low. So we've been having these days where there's like panic bidding going into the close. Okay, here, 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 here. This day also. Here. Okay. So this whole thing going back to 3380 is basically bullshit. Is particularly in the tech stocks. So I say that the Nasdaq has to retrace all of that. And it may even go back down to the 30, even to maybe 3,200. Right? So, if we're having a gamma explosion and those tech stocks are really overvalued, I think that the chances of downside continuing is really high. It's not so simple for us trading the S&P 500 because there are probably, I mean, it was in single names, in particular those Nasdaq names, and so there's probably a lot of regular stocks, those ones that never really took off, right? The Dow stocks in particular that are probably reasonably valued. So you're probably going to get some really difficult rotation, right?
Gary Rich says Nas is dragging the other indexes
Exactly.
down. It might turn for a rotation.
Exactly. They're gonna be selling the Nasdaq and trying to get into everything else. Which for us scalping the S&P 500 makes things hard because you're gonna get whippiness. And this right here is not. I mean, we could have sold it. I mean, I did identify a sell even, didn't I? Up at 76. I didn't straight up say like sell it, but I just said, well, they're okay. There's something happening there. But and that would have been a good short, but you know, there was a whippiness all around. It's kind of a luck of the draw if you catch a good spot or not. Yeah, Bloomberg says one theory is that an explosion in demand for call options to bet on mega cap tech is feeding into gains in the stocks as dealers hedge. Exactly, Win. So as I'll explain my understanding of it, and understand that my understanding of it is going to be very primitive, but when you are an options market maker, you want to make money off of the time decay of the options, right? So you pay a certain amount for an option, and the more time that option has before it expires, the more that option is worth, right? And so people will sell the options, make the money off of them, and then there'll be time decay. So when those options expire worthless, they pocket all of that money, and that's how those options market makers make money. And they don't want to be making money off of the underlying price movement, so they hedge themselves against the underlying price movement. Now, normally this isn't a big deal because the number of puts and the number of calls are out there. They can kind of hedge themselves by making markets in both of those, and then their net position is zero, right? But when everybody is just doing anything but buying calls, then the only way that they have to hedge themselves is to buy the underlying stock, right? So if the stock goes up, then they make money off of owning the stock, and that counteracts whatever they lost on the option, but then they still make money from the price decay, right? So what's been happening is somebody has been buying a lot of calls, and I continue to see people saying that there's like an institution that has to be doing it. And Zero had a story yesterday where they suggested that it was SoftBank. That these are those guys that were involved in the whole wire card fraud, whatever. They probably need money right now, so maybe that's why they're doing it. Is they're trying to create a tech bubble because they're a tech company. They basically push tech companies. So that's a theory, though. I see no evidence, but that's what, like, they said that people on the Bloomberg terminal chat channels, that's what they've been saying. The people in the banks think that it's SoftBank. So that's what's been happening is, like, at the close of the day, they're coming in and buying all of these calls. And so then the market makers have to panic but buy all of this stock. Hold up. So anyways, that's why I say if this it very clearly looks like that this has really been true. I mean, people have been talking about it for weeks, but then yesterday when it all fell out, what happened? The number of puts skyrocketed and all of the tech names started getting hits. So I think that the people that have been calling this out for weeks are 100% vindicated yesterday. So all I'm saying now is, okay, so if we assume that real is the case, and there's still a case, I think that there's still a possibility that they're wrong, but let's just assume that that's the truth. Then there is a lot further for those tech names to go, and Tesla as well. But again, those names that never really took off, that have been lagging, like the Dow, yeah, they're probably okay. But then this brings us to another thought, which is, if tech hadn't been manipulated up like this, would people be as positive on the market as they are today? And I have to say no. So that's why I believe that the chances of this being the beginning of a much more extended downturn, I think, are high. Yeah. There's a good sell. But by the way, we're well below the news price now, the unemployment numbers price.
Vlad Stolyarov says, yeah, they just don't have enough capital to protect levels below.
Mm-hmm.
Vlad Stolyarov says in NASDAQ. Vlad Stolyarov says, SPY, I am not too worried about it, bounces fine. Vlad Stolyarov says, just need to wait for reversal times.
The low is 24, by the way. Salim says, I told you. Well, thank you for telling us. I guess Pence is still talking. Says he expects 1 or more COVID vaccines by the end of the year. Just go out there and say vaccine. That always gets the markets excited. I don't think it works anymore, guys. It's not working anymore. Well, now I'm starting to think a little bit more about maybe taking one, but I'm really nervous about it.
Winston's mom says, 41 watching now. Will everyone please take a quick second to hit the like button? Thank you. And while we are on a commercial break, traders gonna trade. Mugs are cool and so are the emojis.
Yes. So there's a link in the video description where you can get your own Traders Gonna Trade mug for like what, $5-10, I think it is. So those are great. And then we also have channel memberships now, and if you join the channel for $1 a month, you can post funny emojis of rainbow bears. Do you want a short or long? Oh, I want to short it. Absolutely want to short it. It's just probably here's not a safe spot to do it. Salim says up now. You could buy it here too, actually. I mean, but it's just like look at it. It's really whippy. It's really hard to find a safe spot. I could probably scalp it for like a 10 ticker, but kind of wondering if they're going to come down and test yesterday's low at 24. British government defies backlash to approve Tony Abbott as new trade advisor. Well, oops. That didn't work out. Oh, stop it, Salim. But if you have to use more than two messages in a row, then you may be probably talking too much. Well, looks like Apple is taking it on the nose here. Below 115 now. And Tesla, the real pain hasn't even begun. I guess we get Canadian IVPMI here at the top of the hour. I was like, why is my news squawk talking about counting down? Oh, okay. And don't forget Baker Hughes at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Zero Hedge tweets warning flashes as of downbeat corporate execs dump most stock in a month since 2015. Wow. Trading daily QQQ options, says Santana. Oh, I bet. Dude, the options, this is exactly like the kind of action where I'm like, I'm really not a fan of trying to scalp with options because the market liquidity is just not good enough, you know? Like, frankly, what we've got going on right here in the Yemeni is a little. I haven't taken a live order. Concerns me. The issue is right now is they're in a spot where there's plenty of downside potential left in it, but they could whip back really hard too. There's going to be some really wild, unpredictable action, in my opinion.
Gary Rich says Volk coming soon via CME, then options will come. Another product for fun.
What does that mean? Oh, futures on the volatility index? The NASDAQ volatility index? So does that mean that I'll be able to look at volatility index futures, but for NASDAQ, but not S&P 500 futures? By the way, I was wondering, does the CME have a market for Chinese dollar? I don't think they do, right? Pretty sure they're like not allowed to. Emerging markets. What is it? G10. Euro FX, Japanese, Australian dollar, British pound, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, New Zealand, Swedish krona, Norwegian krona. Indian rupee, Mexican, Brazilian, South African, Russian ruble, and Korean won. Yeah. So that was the thing that I think I would like to see. No futures for yuan or renminbi. Do you think that is a legal and political issue, or do you think that it's just they just haven't done it? So I kind of assumed that it was a legal issue, but I was thinking about it today because I was like, well, okay, I got the dollar index. Dollar index is really cool, but the dollar index doesn't include a yuan component, and that would be really important. Nope, Salim, not going to click it. Not unless I get like a really solid setup, which I have not at the moment. I see quite a lot of longs being picked up here. Interesting. And either longs being picked up or shorts covering. Either way you look at it, I think they were going to have some degree of pullback here. And seeing dip buyers in Apple now. Well, let's yeah, you're right. They're in there. My rare earth resources is back up above 8, but they haven't reached yesterday's high yet. Jose, I told you it was going to go up and now it's finished. See, you're doing the thing I hate, Salim. Trying to get other people to follow you. I follow you and then you're going to say now it's finished and I'm going to be like, oh, whoops. I didn't get out fast enough. Because I'm trying to follow somebody else. RJ Will says, I can tell you I won't be following Salim. Oh, man. I'm going to have to change some things in my text-to-speech this weekend if I have time on Sunday. So they still look pretty weak, but I don't know if they've pulled back far enough for me to really put risk on here, so. Yeah, there's two issues, platform failing and liquidity. Will buyers whose platform lagging buy dips? No. A good question. Are we having people complaining about their platforms today? Oh, by the way, another thing is I'm going to do at the end of the market, I'm going to do another stream today. I should have told you guys earlier. Just for fun. I figured since we had such a really ugly day yesterday that it would be fun to go through some of the posts on social media and poke some fun at them and see how that does. So yeah, I'm gonna do that after the market close, and I'll live stream it. I'll record it live streamed. All right. So come back 2:00. We'll have some fun. Won't be anything serious. Wrong wants it to go down. Thinkorswim surprisingly still working. Well, I gotta tell you, I haven't had any problems with Fidelity. It seems that when things were getting really crazy, that Fidelity just would just chomp more processing power, but it handled it just fine. Wrong, do you trade live? I haven't taken any live trades today. I've been really selective with with my live trades. I took live trade yesterday, but I've been really selective with them. After September, maybe we'll be doing it more, but when it's like this right now, I'm still a little nervous to try trading this sort of a thing. I think to really, I think like the issue is that in an action like this, I could maybe go down like $100 before coming back out and me making $200 or $300 out of it, and that's like way too wild of a swing on such a small account right now. So I don't. Okay, I'm gonna watch this video from Dave here to see why he believes he saved the stock market. If this market pushes lower today, he is gonna look like the worst tool ever. Like if it fails, he needs to be like just. He's saying, "Oh yeah, I told you guys to buy the dip, and now I'm up, and bye. Oh my gosh, I hope that everybody gives him shit if the market ends up down today." Oh my gosh.
Plan B4 Trade says respect Seth. Cannot imagine trading live myself. I think I have enough pressure without the added pressure of an audience.
Maybe I've just become desensitized, but I don't feel any pressure from you guys. If anything, at this point, having the stream there along with me makes me more calm. Of course, when I lose, I feel bad, but I don't. When I lose, I'm sitting there like, I'm mad about losing the money, and I'm not worried about what you guys think, because I've done this enough. Like honestly, there was that one summer where I lost almost every day. Remember that? Some of you old timers might remember that. It was really bad. It was just like the technical edge that I was using just completely flipped, and it was so bad. And after that, it was kind of like, well, okay, the people that are here, I don't think that they're here because I win all the time.
Rob MV3 Trader says I don't feel pressure from an audience either.
Yeah.
For me, it keeps me honest. I can be a little wild by myself, lol.
And the thing is traders back in the day, you would do it at a prop firm, and you'd be in a room with other people, and you couldn't hide your P&L. And I think that a live stream, that's the best replacement for a prop firm that we have now. So I think it's all great, and having a group of people that you can talk about really serious, complicated financial subjects when you need to talk about those, and having a group of people that you can just joke around with when you need that. Okay. Seeing the indexes kind of trying to fight it out here again. I don't know if they're going to go for new low or not. I think I will take a sim trade here if they break 34.30. See if they fill it. I don't think that it might be hard to get filled here because the floor might just completely fall out from them. But it seems like every time that I've been trying to do this one that it doesn't just do that. So let's see what happens, all right? Okay, so it did fill. You can see that it didn't just fall through.
Winston's mom says the United States has only one operational rare earths mine, in Mountain Pass, Caliph. The site was acquired out of bankruptcy in 2017 by MP Materials.
Yes, that's correct. And Congress is passing a law that will give them a huge tax break to reduce the overhead of running that mine. And REEMF owns a significant share in the ownership of that mine. So that's what the play is there, REEMF. That's why we're watching it. Well, the kind of tepidly touching lower, but no stop run, some absorption. Ah, there we go. Well, it's a good stop run too. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Quick reversal though. Yeah, I was thinking like I might want to take it off there. This is exactly where why there's some problems here, but I'm gonna try and hang on. All right. So I would like to at least get 20, right? They would be so kind. Oh, actually, I take that back because that would put us so close to 24. I think I want to just leave it on. Oh, Vlad, I lost all day feed now. Can't trade futures on Trade of 8. Not like I was going to. It was acting weird yesterday during the morning. Oh, don't close too early. Wow, CQG died? Guys. Oh, it is below. It is now below yesterday's low. Below yesterday. Wow. Wait, how did it go down that quickly? I took my eyes off it like 1 second and it just careened out there. Okay, wait. We need to come back over here. Should have done it live. It wouldn't have been a bad trade. Wait, how many adverse ticks did we get though? 6. I don't know. It was a little nerve-wracking, to be honest with you guys. I don't know if I could have taken that one live. That was a little nerve-wracking. Yeah, 6 against. But it's bouncing really hard.
Winston's mom says sexy robot voice say, scandium, yttrium, lanthanum, cerium, praseodymium, neodymium, promethium, samarium, europium, gadolinium, terbium, holmium, dysprosium, erbium, thulium, ytterbium, lutetium.
No, we need to hold this. I did not realize that was already VIX target 1. David Portnoy's complaint box is going to be jammed. Right. David, if you're watching this, David, you're really, honestly, how should I play this, guys? Should I be a dick or I'm going to be nice to you, Dave. I'm going to be nice. I'm feeling gracious today because the market was kind to me yesterday and it's been kind to me today, I guess. And so I'm going to be kind to you, David. When you are live streaming, if you are listening, let me restart, David. If you are listening, all right, when you have a soapbox like you have, because honestly, I mean, I'm super jealous. You have a lot of people that watch. There are a lot of people paying attention, all right? You need to be responsible. You can't just come in and tell people, yo, buy the fucking dip because it's funny, all right? Because when people lose money like they're losing money right now, it's not funny, all right? If you're going to have a platform like that, you need to be responsible. You know what? We should just record it. Let's just do it like this. Oh, that. Let's kind of resize this so that we can kind of see some things. All right. David, listen, if you're watching this, I mean, I could be a dick, but the market has been kind to me. It was kind to me yesterday. It was kind to me today. So I'm going to be kind to you today and just give you some advice, man. Like, when you have a soapbox as big as you do, and honestly, I'm totally jealous. I've been streaming for many, many years. I never expect to be a big stream. And I'm absolutely shocked and surprised that you've had as much success as you have had and the number of people watching you. But man, when you have a soapbox that big, dude, you need to be responsible. You can't just come in and say, buy the fucking dip because it's funny, okay? Because if somebody goes in and wastes their life savings following you and then they lose money, it's not funny. So here we are below yesterday's low. David claiming that he saved the markets. What a fucking joke. Guys, be responsible. And you know what? If you don't know what's going on, I just wouldn't recommend day trading this market. It's extremely risky. There we go. How was that? Was that good? Do you like that?
Winston's mom says, I'm not trying to turn you into a bourgeois, Naomi. If the bed is too luxurious, we can do it on the floor. Philip Rothwell, RJ Wheel. I'm just going to stop the text speech, guys, because it's being so slow again. Alex says he's in ES. So let's go come back here and watch the video and see if I like it. Because was I looking at the screen when I did it? I might need to record it again. 3 takes. He's going to come back and watch the live stream. He's going to be like, you took 3 takes? What the hell? All right, I don't want it that big. David, listen, if you're watching this, I mean, I could be a dick, but the market has been kind to me. It was kind to me yesterday. It was kind to me today. So I'm going to be kind to you today and just give you some advice, man. Like, when you have a soapbox as big as you do, and honestly, I'm totally jealous. I've been streaming. I'm looking at my eyes and I'm just like, that's so stupid. Okay. Mr. Portnoy, if you're listening right now, you know, I could be a really big dick about this because here you came in and you said, I saved the markets, buy the dip. And I mean, look at it. You can see it right now. It's just an absolute disaster. So I really could be a dick and make a ton of fun of you. But the market has been really kind to me the past 2 days.
And so I'm going to be kind to you. And I'm just going to say, David, when you have a soapbox as big as you do, you should really be more responsible with it, right? I am totally jealous. I mean, I've been doing this streaming for years and I've had good times and bad times, but I never thought that a stream doing day trading would ever be as popular as yours has been. So, total kudos to you. Good job. But man, if you're going to have a soapbox like that, you have to be responsible. You can't just say, hey, buy the dip because it's funny. All right. Because if people put their life savings into that off of what you said as a joke and then the market falls apart like it is right now, that's not funny. All right. So that's it. Let's just be responsible and good luck to you in the future. What about that one? Was that good? Was that good? We actually had a good bounce on that one, so I don't know if that's going to be the greatest take. But we'll watch it. Let's watch it. Mr. Portnoy, if you're listening right now, I could be a really big dick about this because here you came in and you said, I saved the markets, buy the dip. And I mean, look at it. You can see it right now. It's just an absolute disaster. So I really could be a dick and make a ton of fun of you. But the market has been really kind to me the past 2 days. And so I'm going to be kind to you. And I'm just going to say, David, when you have a soapbox as big as you do, you should really be more responsible with it, right? I am totally jealous. I mean, I've been doing this streaming for years and I've had good times and bad times, but I never thought that a stream doing day trading would ever be as popular as yours has been. So, total kudos to you. Good job. But man, if you're going to have a soapbox like that, you have to be responsible. You can't just say, hey, buy the dip because it's funny. All right. Because if people put their life savings into that off of what you said as a joke and then the market falls apart like it is right now, that's not funny. All right. So that's it. Let's just be responsible and good luck to you in the future. There we go. Should I hold it? I'm still not to my target, so I'm gonna hold it to 90, right? I'm just gonna put it in and I'm gonna set and forget. All right, we're all halfway there. And I will edit that video later. Put it up later. Maybe we won't. You know what? Maybe we won't do the after stream. Let's do that on Sunday. Let's do that on Sunday. All right. We'll do a Sunday stream. Because I don't want to put out 3 videos in a day. Whee. Whew. That man, when those cells come in, man, it's just like a knife. Like, Rita Hayworth, one of my favorites. They just don't make women like they used to. Well, you know what? They still got the old models are around, and that's good enough. Okay. Go, go, go. They're buying the dip there at 3,400. It's going to take a little bit to push them below that, I think. Gary, I guess I was wrong when the Nas would drag us down. You know what, Gary, when you said that, I don't think that you explained it very well. Because I didn't think when you said that you were saying to go short, right? In fact, I thought you were saying, hey, maybe the NASDAQ will hold things, and that's why I was coming in and I was saying, well, there's probably going to be a lot of rotation, but I think we'll probably go lower. Looks like, though, that they're going to fight over 3,400 a bit first. I was thinking NQ is going to hell on the daily, but not that quick, right? Well, the thing is when it went, right? I was looking at it and I was like, okay, well, if they make another new low, they're going to be really close to yesterday's low. So I think that we could get a little bit of a cascade here. But I did not think that we would come down 30 points that quickly. That's crazy. That was crazy. Oh, we're going to. I want to edit it first. I'm gonna post a video though, and you can because I want them to see it. Because you should be responsible. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Maybe we come back up next week and we're at all time highs by next Friday. But I just feel that the way that he was playing today, as like it was like a joke. Oh, I saved the markets and ha 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 and buy the dip and everything. And I just think in this particular situation that that's really irresponsible. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Oh, Sunday, we're making an open letter to David Portnoy here. Want me to? Should I open up Resolve and try and do it right now? Because I just want to edit out the beginning and end of that so that it's all sharp. We'll open up DaVinci here. Ooh, we can see the target now. It's in our sights. Yes, entering somewhat of well-known volume profile zone, yeah. My target is based on the VIX there. Let's see what it does. Yay! That worked out so well. Look at that. I still think that the risk on my live account was not worth it, but I'm really happy that my plan and strategy is working so well in this particular market because we developed it in a very slow market and now we're in a very fast market again and it's working like a champ. Let's skip that one. No, we need to call the project Portnoy. Here we go. It's going to cover the screen here for you guys for a second. Sorry about that. Cut. That's not right. Workspace. There we go. I'll put it over here. Okay. Okay, they're gonna go again. They're gonna go lower. If I picked the low of the day, then that's just fucking amazing. But I don't think that on a day like this that we shall be so lucky. There we go. Okay. Still chopping there. I'm surprised that I got DaVinci open here and I'm not dropping frames. Yesterday Rhythmic died, today dies CQG, right? You know what though, I restarted Ninja after I ended the stream. I restarted Ninja Trader and then it connected. So it's making me wonder if it wasn't just Rhythmic. But okay, now I'm dropping a few frames because I was rendering. Cool. And they go lower. Ooh boy. What now? What now? 81. So there was a naked point of control there. Now we are coming into the top. You like they said, we're in the top of this profile area. Then it goes all the way to 33.45. Will it continue? At this point, I don't think that I have any way of knowing what it will do. Let's just let's just straight up admit now this is now beyond any kind of expectations. It is now just a disaster. VIX jumps 5.3% when it was up 10% yesterday too, right? Ripped to the lows. Hold on tight. The dollar roller coaster is not finished. How? Oh, and the dollar is up 93.12. The treasuries are recovering. So that's good, I guess. Guys. So let's start taking betting odds on when Ninja Trader increases the margins. You know it's going to happen, right? Sorry, when AMP. Okay, we're taking bets on when AMP increases margins. This is insane. We just dropped. I took it at 90. We've just dropped 30 points in less than 5 minutes. Okay, so who thinks that within the next hour that AMP futures will increase margins? We'll do it. We'll say in an hour before the end of the day, before next Monday or before next Friday or never. Okay? I think that I'm going to bet that they do it by next Tuesday. That's my bet. So if you go into the lobby in Discord, we're placing our bets. You say before next Monday. Well, remember that we got. Let's say Tuesday. I'm saying Tuesday, Rob, because we got Labor Day, right? Oh yeah, I forgot what I was doing over here. I will not monetize this video. Okay. Am I spelling his name right? Why does, because it thinks that I'm spelling it wrong. Portnoy. Portnoy. No, he's getting it right. You got it right. Okay. Okay, so I got the video here. Open letter to David Portnoy. Stool Presidente. Tweet. You want the link here? They gonna go again? Oh, somebody big old block order at 33. Oh, they just blew right through that, man. Wow. Today's video title will be Market Falls Apart. Okay, quick. What was the overnight open? We need to start thinking circuit breakers, guys. 34.54. 34.54 times 0.07 equals 241. 32.13. Is the market crashing? It sure seems like it. Okay, so to hit a circuit breaker, we would need to go to 32.13. That's still another 100 points down. Oh, yeah. Oh, I did give you guys the video. So go and tweet that at David. I want him to see it because he really needs to think about it. Just martingale. It's fine if you need to do it a couple of times. Gary says, I say this is temporary unless October VIX jumps to 41 or 42, then we have a different outlook. If and only if September VIX goes backwardation to October, then face sharp selling and go long vol. Okay. Well, I think I agree with you, Gary. I think that what we're seeing right now is retracing a move that was created by manipulation. And so that manipulation is going to completely come back out. And then after that, I don't think after that it would continue to just be like an awful disaster. I think, let me try and draw out what I think is going to happen. So here we had this, it was like this, and we're having this and this. I think that even after today, there might still be some, but then we're going to have this sort of a thing. And then maybe like this. And I don't know how low this will go, but eventually we will. But I think that it will take a very long time to come back to this level. And it will probably not be until after November, right? I think that the market might be kind of like this until November. But I think he's right that like the severe correction is probably only temporary. But let's see here. He was saying 40. So I'm interested to know where he gets those numbers from. But we're at 37.41 right now. Ooh. I mean, that's kind of cutting it a little close, don't you think so, Gary? Yeah, we've been here before. People seem to get brain fog when March had a huge volatility of drops and limits down. Yes, and we're not even anywhere close to the drops that we had back then, are we? Because like I just said, for us to hit a circuit breaker, we would need to get to like 32.13. So we're not there yet, are we? But I do think serious damage has been done. I don't think, if you're saying that, hey, we could just be back up to new highs next week, I really highly doubt it. I really, really highly doubt it. This is going to take this is going to have, echoes for a long time. These 2 days are going to be some of the most memorable days in the markets. I personally, to me, what's happened here, I think is more significant than the crazy things that were happening at the lows. I thought that when we were at the lows that was all just kind of nonsense. Like that was just traders trading. This, I think that like the market did something very damaging, you know? Oh, Toucan says that TradeStation intraday margins are now at 100% due to high volatility. Let's check my email. Maybe AMP has already been sending out emails. Let's check. Oh, what was I was thinking about something and I just completely lost my train of thought. So Vlad says, so the fake jobs didn't give enough dip buy power to trap more. I really think that this was a case where, like I said, the options gamma matters more, and everybody was taking a pause for the news. And there was, there was a good move off of the news and all of that. But in the end, once the markets opened and all of the options stuff started coming back on again, it just continued because these guys have, you think about all of the calls that were bought, right? And now those market makers, now the put call ratio has equalized out. Those market makers have to sell all of those shares, and they're just going to panic and they're just going to sell it all, right? So there's probably no limit to how far down it could go today. Like I said, my had target 2 at 90, $200 trade off of the break of new lows. Went to six ticks against me. I don't know. I'm glad that I didn't trade it live because I've made so many mistakes on a Friday like that, But we should get some good trade next week, so it's okay. There's always other days, and I'd still say that it was a great trade, right? Gary says, I kind of expect the news this weekend on CNBC, etc., to perp walk the buy the dip and value peeps. Yeah, so can I show you something here? I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Oh, you know what? We have to do it this way. Let me show you my TikTok. Nah, I don't know how to. I mean, it'd be stuff that you guys already know. I made a TikTok video yesterday because when I was on TikTok, all of the stock people that I was seeing on TikTok was like, it's no big deal. In fact, the video that was popular, it had like 500 comments on it. I was like, how did you get 500 comments on a TikTok video about investing? Because I don't get even 100 views. But he was like, had a moving average. Let's just put on some moving averages here, okay? He had a simple moving averages, and he was like, look, we're still below the moving averages. So let's do 50, and 100 and 200-day moving averages, since those are the technical ones that people tend to put on a daily chart. Yeah, so he was showing this whole big thing, and he was like, look, see, we're still above the 50-day moving average, so everything is fine. And I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter where the moving average is. The options gamma is going to sell until that's taken off. Period. Anyways. Salim says, Seth, I saw your video. You don't say that. Stop stroking my ego. Theoretically, you are way up there. I am definitely, Salim, I'm definitely not the best trader in the world. Big Toasty, what are you doing? Well, we took a good trade today, and so now we're just kind of sitting and watching the disaster unfold in front of us. But if you're new and you're not familiar with what you're looking at, this is a depth of market looking at the S&P 500 futures. And, they're moving pretty crazy right now. Top 6 NASDAQ stocks, all down 6% plus ass dragging across the carpet. Oh, so I don't see here. Where is Tesla? Tesla's still only at 381. I say that Tesla should be below 300, to be honest with you. But, I mean, trying to predict the price in Tesla is kind of a fool's errand at this point, isn't it? What else? So VIX stopped at 38. They are trying to build a recovery. I don't know about this one. I think that they could drop again. How? Now that you told me about that VIX 40, I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, it's totally going to go there. Even though I really have no idea how to calculate that. I'm really interested, Gary. I'm really, really interested now, Gary, in how you got that number. Why 40? 41 or 42? Why that number? Now, is there something wrong with my treasuries? Because those aren't really moving at the moment. Huh? I'm seeing volume come in. The treasuries are just dead. Okay, if they take that 50-day simple moving average out, it will trigger technical level of forced selling. Probably true. Trading is the shittiest job ever. You know what, Toasty? I'm not going to say it's the shittiest job ever, but it's the shittiest living ever. I don't think that you want to be day trading for a living unless you've got a big bank backing you, you know? If you've got a big bank backing you, then maybe it's okay. PRT1 says, here comes the stimulus bill. Yeah, maybe they'll be able to get it now. You think that Nancy is going to give up on the getting the state aid though, so that they can shore up all of their Democrat pension programs and stuff? I don't think that the Republicans are going to give up on that, even if it gets dire. I could be wrong. But I guess the reason why I say that is because if it was me, I would be doing the same thing. I would be saying, no, we're not going to pay for your pension. That's not okay. That all of the other states are going to pay for your foolish mistake. There's got to be a line drawn somewhere, and I think that that's where it is. But how dire could it get at that point without stimulus? I think that they should have passed the skinny stimulus and left that other stuff for a different deal. Big Toasty, the fucking algos today are disgusting. Yeah, I don't. I'm really surprised that the treasuries have slowed down this much. Mm-hmm. And you do nothing for the world. Well, that is not true, Big Toasty. So let me explain to you. See, when things happen, news stories occur, we get new data information about what the economy is. That affects the supply and demand for various different assets around the world. And in order for those assets to be freely traded, there needs to be a group of people out there making markets in those places so that the people that want to buy and sell those assets will have a market to come to and do it. And so those individuals need to know as much about that market as possible and the sort of things that will affect the supply and demand of that market so that when you go and you want to buy something that you're getting a fair price. And so that's why it's important for us to be following the news, knowing what's going on, and being experts on this. Now, the real problem here has been that we decided to give it all to robots, thinking that, oh, they can just trade off of the price action or something like that, and that'll be okay. But the reality is that the robots just aren't sophisticated enough to be able to look at a situation that has never happened before and know what the result of it is going to be. So instead of just saying, oh, well, everybody is buying tons of calls, maybe I should just stop making this market. Instead, they go, okay, I'll sell this and then I'll buy the underlying stock. And they just let it go and go and go and go. And then now we got the disaster that we have today. So really, what we're doing is really important. And we need more people like this. We need more people that are going to make markets and that are going to try and understand the markets and, understand the fundamentals in the news and not just trade like an algorithm. There's enough algorithms out there. You know what I mean? Mm-mm. One contract is not a big deal. No, it's not. But you know what? If 1,000 people like me went out and did it, then that would be help. And, out of those 1,000 people, a certain number of them will probably get big and could matter to the market. So you got to start somewhere, Big Toasty. You got to start somewhere. Mm-mm-mm. What's the biggest profit hedge funds can make? Well, I mean, there's no limit. It's not like there's a technical limit on it. But I think that a really good hedge fund is maybe making 20% year over year. So kind of think about that when you see these retail traders out there thinking that they're gonna like quadruple their money every year. No. Hmm. We are getting a pretty good pullback here, but that drop was ugly. You think the lad thinks the 11:30 area was exhaustion selling? Well, let me see here. What do I think? Could be, here's the thing is that I don't really see a lot of positions being held. I take that back. There actually is a pretty sizable buy on there. Pretty comparable to yesterday, in fact. So, problem though is with that one is going to be they buy the dip. If they don't take their profits up here at like below 3,400, then there's a really big risk to it pushing the low again and all of those longs getting stopped out again. Could be algos martingaling too. It could be. Okay, Gary says, in a normal environment, which we are not, VIX contango should be $1 to $3. $5 or $6 is too much hopium, which was too much. Okay, I see. He was trying to answer my question about why 41.42. Huge 100-point swings. What happened to Tesla? Well, they're at 33.81 right now. Which, what would that be split adjusted? Actually, let's just like let's see if we can get Tesla here to be like let's show me no, right here. Let's see if it can show us like 3 months worth of data. Okay, cool. So we're above 380. And I believe that 300 was equal to 1,500, right? 3 times 5, yeah. Of course. I don't like to pull out a calculator for that. So 300 was when we had like that initial, like the earnings and everything. And it was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, this is all going to come back. I can almost promise. I shouldn't say that. I can't almost promise. I feel very strongly that this is going to be closed. Where did you learn trading? Good question everywhere. So when I was watching the financial crisis of 2008, I said, oh, this is interesting. I want to learn about it. So I started reading every piece of news that I could. I started watching CNBC as much as I could. Then I got hired on at one of the big banks and I learned as much as I could. One of the nice things about working where I did was that they had a lot of continuing education programs. So I took all of their classes about options and things like that. I learned as much as I could about the market. And I read a lot of news. I think one of the things that I'm kind of noticing is, you can certainly read a book. I want to write a course. I'm in the process of writing a course that I'm going to offer for free. That will give you a pretty good rundown of all of the things that I can think of that are really important. But the reality is that there are a lot of things that you're just not going to learn that people just don't bother to write down because it's like a day by day thing, And so you just have to watch the market every day, read the news every day, talk to other traders every day and see what's happening. I'll give you an Armageddon scenario. We just made megaphone pattern on the monthly and we're going to hell 2,200 SPX. Ooh, what? Okay. That would be crazy. I don't think big banks don't teach you anything about trading. Well, you got to remember that the way that a big bank trades is very different from the way that a retail trader has to trade, right? They have a lot of capital and they can do things and implement strategies that we simply don't have available. And those strategies provide them a really big edge. Whereas here with the retail traders, I can't go in and move the market with my size. I can't, take on a huge spread of options that has a net position that's very low but requires a lot of capital to put it on. So yeah, there's only so much that the big bank can teach you about trading, but there's a lot that the big bank can tell you about the market itself, and you need to know that stuff to be good at trading. Straight up, that's my opinion. I know a lot of people will continue to tell you that you don't have to really know anything about what's going on. You just look at the chart and do the thing. Or, just always buy it and you'll be fine. But the reality is, if you're day trading, this is much more complicated than that. Plus, you're not allowed to trade if you work at a bank. You're right. You're not allowed to trade your own account, at least. They have rules that if you buy something, you have to hold it for like a month. I forget what the exact numbers were. Who are the key players in the market? Man, it's like 50 questions here from Big Toasty. But, there's a lot of players. I would have a hard time. So there was this article I read. I think it was on Zero Hedge a couple of weeks ago, where I think it was JP Morgan had done a study about the impact of volume on the markets and trying to figure out what type of institutions had the biggest impact on the markets. And I think that they were saying that like mutual funds, had like a 35% impact, and retail day traders had like a 25% retail impact, but it was actually quite close between them all. So this idea that it's like there's just one player in the market and you just have to watch what he's doing and you'll make money is simply not true. But there's a lot of different players, right? So there's mutual funds, there's hedge funds, and you should understand that those are two like fundamentally different types of institutions and strategies that they use, right? And then, I also, in our markets, you really want to look out for like the commodity trading advisors type of strategies are very momentum driven. So, like you're talking about, Gary Rich was talking about, if we get below a certain moving average, there would probably be a lot of technically forced selling. Probably right. Although that's 3286. So that's way down there, but not, if we did have a 7% down move today, we could get below that though. Could happen. I don't know. I got to tell you, it's not very often that we'll see a move as dramatic as this, and then it'll just go back up. You know what I mean? I guess there's this thing that was still kind of in the recovery, but like we're at all-time highs and you start getting selling like that, it takes a long time to come back. It's usually the start of something much worse. Anyways, I never step in front of the program until they turn them off. Technicals just don't matter. Yeah, I don't want to say, I'm trying to come up with like the best phrasing for it, because the way that I think of it is technicals don't matter, but I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that, right? Because I've been trying to say technicals aren't predictive. I don't think that technicals matter as to where it's going to go in the future. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that you don't want to pay attention to them. Is there anywhere in particular you go to get your news/info? I imagine there's a few, yes. So I'll give you a number of places here that I look at, okay? For market specific information, okay? Because I really love politics too, and I read so much about politics. And that's, a bunch of individual websites and Reddit, and, I kind of go everywhere and I do a lot of reading. I've been realizing this year how much time I actually spend doing that. But I tell you, for a retail trader, and this is really controversial. I was arguing with somebody with this last night on Reddit, actually, but one of the best retail resources that we have is Zero Hedge. Okay, don't get me wrong, Zero Hedge posts a lot of bullshit. Okay, they are anti-establishment, anti-central banking, pro, golden standard, and they're always bearish because of that. But Zero Hedge will go out and they find the major analyst reports that are being circulated and read in the markets and repost that information and summarize it for you. And that's information that to get access to all of that stuff, the only way that you could have access to it is if you worked for a bank and you paid thousands of dollars for this subscription. You know, they pay a lot of money for that. And Zero Hedge just reposts it and you can read it for free. So Zero Hedge is an amazing resource. You just have to be smart enough to realize when to ignore what they're saying and not, like, to understand what their bias is, because you're going to remember they're always going to be bearish, right? So Zero Hedge is a really big resource. A next really good resource that I would recommend is Twitter, okay, for free resources at least. And I have some lists that I have out there of like squawks. So I think that if you go to my Twitter profile, you can look at my lists and you can see who I have added. So I have in well-known traders, and I have well-known news squawks that I follow. So I'll read my Twitter feed, and when I see interesting stories, I click on them. So that's one. I have a lifetime subscription to Financial Juice. I believe that you can get in on the lifetime subscription for Financial Juice until the 14th. I believe the 14th is the last day. And they've been a very effective news squawk. They're not as good as Rand Squawk, but they get the job done. And it's a good price. So I think that I would get in on that if you're interested in getting a news squawk. I also, frankly, I would recommend that you read CNBC and watch CNBC. So this is another controversial one, but hear me out. Like, CNBC says a lot of stupid shit. Like, honestly, because the thing is they let just about anybody on TV because you got a lot of time to fill. Okay. But when you watch CNBC a lot, you get such a wide view of like what different players in the markets think. Right. And so, especially when you're starting out and you don't know a ton about the markets, you learn so much just from watching CNBC obsessively. Like, seriously, like, just turn it on and listen to it while you're working if you can. I think it's a really great resource. Well, it's just like any other resource. Like, you can't just read the news and just believe like everything that they put out there, right? I think we all know that, but you have to be able to read it and interpret what's going on, factor in their biases and information that you already know to see when maybe they're saying things that aren't true or where you need more information. And then you can dig down into other stuff, right? Because it's really about analyzing other people's opinions too, right? But CNBC is a really great resource too. And then if you're starting out, I would highly recommend futures.io. Futures.io has a ton of webinars and videos, and they will teach you a lot of things that are just kind of like the trading side of things, like how do you manage risk. Futures Trader 71 has like a big long series that he did at Futures.io that I think is really, really great. Just there again, it's just like everybody else. They're all always so focused on technical analysis. Why isn't there a blog? Why isn't there a journal on futures.io that is just a guy reading and analyzing the news? It's not there. It should be. I would start one, but there, because I have a channel and everything, it's kind of like poop. It's kind of been poo-pooed, so I don't think that I would do that. But they should, but they have a lot of good information. And I guess I should also say some places that I would not go for information. Like, frankly, Facebook. Oh my gosh, guys. The traders that I've run into on Facebook groups are so stupid. Like, those are like the hype guys. Like, just ignore them. You really want to learn trading, avoid any group that's really centered around stock picking, because that most usually turns into hyping up the plays that they've already made. Okay. And so all that teaches you to do is to try and follow the crowd, which is really not what you want to do. Right. Reddit. I troll the Reddit forums related to trading very religiously, and I don't think I've ever seen a piece of information on Reddit that I thought was really useful. And again, a lot of technical analysis. YouTube, there's a lot of good stuff on my channel. There's a lot of good stuff on other channels, but just realize that the vast, and I mean vast majority of YouTube videos about trading are complete bullshit too. So yes, Stock Labs is good. Yeah, I visited that website, but I don't remember a whole lot about it. So, there was one site that I was really impressed with, but you need a subscription. It's like $35 subscription a month, I think, was Macro Hive. I thought Macro Hive was really good. It's really macro data is kind of the stuff that you want to read. So like if you're looking for like subreddits to read, go and read Econo Monitor or economics, Anyways, there were some questions there. Plan B was saying, do you reckon they're ultra bearish postures because it brings in more clicks? That may be the case, but I really think that you have to realize that Zero Hedge has a political, what is the word? That you have to realize that Zero Hedge has a political agenda, right? They don't like central banks is really the gist of it. So because they don't like central banks, they're always rooting for the central banks to screw up and the economy to fail, right? If you had listened to Zero Hedge in 2008, then you would have missed the whole rally. Like they said so many stupid things. What about Vinny? Absolutely not. I think that the product that he's selling is overpriced. I think that he's extremely dishonest. I think that he has bullied our channel. I'm surprised that YouTube still allows him around. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Yeah, Ace is like, oh dear, Toasty. So Ace, did you take... we didn't hear from you yesterday, so I didn't know if you took any trades. So I took a sell yesterday, and it was really good. And then I took a trade today, but I wasn't confident enough to put it on my live. But that one turned out well and was even better. That one was what was it? An 80.1, right? Oh, it says 157 tick winner. It's $200 on a micro contract. I rode that ES down a long ways. It was a good day the last couple of days. Good. I was concerned because there had been a couple of like head fake signals that would have gotten you in on the wrong spot. But if you got the right one, and the other thing is that it didn't start at the right times, like normally it's like that. 7 o'clock our time was like one of the best ones. But this time it's been like they wait for the news and then it goes. So kind of. What else? I was going to say another thing is guys, just like the technical analysis thing. I'm going to make a video about technical analysis, and I'm going to show you some of the indicators that I think are the most useful. Okay, and I'm going to explain to you why. But I really strongly believe that the vast majority of technical analysis that you see out there is complete bunk and is totally useless to you. And especially when you see these guys that are selling like $1,000 indicator packages, like run away. Just run as far and as fast as you can. Doesn't mean that people won't offer indicator packages that aren't worth something. But, geez, you can combine technical analysis with order flow. They're the same thing. In my opinion, they're the same thing, Toasty. I mean, think about it. So, to me, technical analysis is the use of past market-generated data to make trading decisions. That's, to me, is what technical analysis is. So it doesn't matter if that technical analysis is based on price or if it's based on an analysis of the volume. You're still analyzing past data that was generated by the market, right? And so that's where, again, I would say that's useful information, okay? Knowing where you can get filled in the treasury, or, any instrument really, looking at the level 2 and knowing the places that you can potentially get filled and stuff is a really important skill, but it doesn't predict the future. It doesn't predict the future. So, yeah, can you use them together? So really the question is, can you use technical analysis together with fundamental analysis? Yes. But the issue that we have there is that people tend to think of it as like, okay, I'm going to wait until I see a technical signal, and then when I take the technical signal, I'm going to sit and ponder about the fundamentals for a moment before I take it. And my observation from doing that myself is that it doesn't work, because the technicals bias your opinion of the technicals far too much. So I really think that what you want to do instead is you want to think about the fundamentals primarily and generate an opinion on what the market is doing and how the trade is going to proceed going forward because of your fundamental view, and then look for technical signals that are confirming what you want to do. So fundamentals first, always, is my take. The trading industry is fucked up, sure. Because a lot of these people, they're not making money, and I'm not going to lie to you guys like that I'm making a ton of money. I've been trading really, really well, but I'm not making a ton of money from it. I'm trading a very, very small account. And I made a lot of significant strides this year, There's a lot of things at the beginning of this year that I was just wrong about, and I lost money trading it. So, there's lots of people that turn around and just decide that they're going to scam everybody, which I never do. That's why I was saying, I do want to put out an indicator package that will be very affordable. But I'm not going to come in and tell you something about it that's not true, that like it can predict the future or that it's going to make you a profitable trader, because that's not true. It shows you particular information that is really useful and would be really useful to some traders because they can't see it otherwise. And if that's information that would be useful to your trading, then you get it. And if you don't, then don't bother. You know what I mean? Price action equals volume profile. Eventually you can see how price action relates to the profile. I don't know. Okay. I have to take your word on that one. I have to say, though, if there's one thing that I am convinced doesn't work, it's price action. When we did that survey and price action ended up being the most popular option, I was I wasn't surprised, but I was like, oh my gosh, guys. Ace, I went back on all your videos, and if you had taken all the trades I called, you would have owned. No. But you know what? The thing is that Ace was giving us trades for a certain amount of time, and I wasn't taking them because it was summer. And then the fall came along, and I started taking some of his trades, and it worked really well for a really long time. And then the freaking Brexit thing came and ruined it all. So when Brexit came along, I kind of I kind of readjusted. What about the flash crash? That has no fundamental data to back it up. I honestly think you can predict them with fundamentals. I mean, what we're seeing here today, in some cases can be considered a flash crash. It's not like a true flash crash because it's not like the liquidity disappeared, but the liquidity in single name stocks is low, right? Okay, then maybe an ice cone shack, right? I told you that my wife wants to start a shaved ice shack, didn't I? I don't know if because then you have to sit and man it, and I don't think the kids will do that. I think it'll be too big of a pain in the butt to get them to do it. And then it will just end up being me and her. Maybe she can just sit in the ice shack all day. That would be great, I guess. I read somewhere hedge funds top trader would flip a coin before each. Really? I mean, it could be. I think that a lot of the big bank strategy was acknowledging that there was a certain amount of trading activity that they just couldn't predict, and it was taking it as it came, you know? Ooh, Rand Squawk tweeting something. Daily FX Team Live says Speaker Pelosi says jobs report shows an urgent need for action, and Rand Squawk's response is you could start by opening up small businesses like salons. Yeah, actually, that would be a good idea. Make it so. Sounds like a lot of work ice cone checks. Right, and I think that we would build it. I think that we would build the shack. I know. I should think about it a little bit more because I need good branding. What would be a good branding for an ice cone shack? Anyways. That hairdo is going to haunt her for years? What? Oh, man. By the way, I put out there that video. I don't know if you guys saw that. Let's see how it went because I want him to see it. I don't know how to make it so that he'll really see it. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's actually gotten 29 views. Wow. Friends of my wife make homemade ice cream and they kick ass. Ooh, ice cream would be nice too. But what my wife really likes is the ice. She just absolutely loves the shaved ice. It's got to be like the really fine stuff. Big Toasty, did you ever program something in NinjaTrader? I was saying that I was going to program something today, but I didn't end up doing it. I'll probably do it after the stream. I still have a number of NinjaTrader programming videos that I need to make. Kind of a couple of things that have been getting in the way of it, but I will. I'm gonna try and do that today, and I'll have the results. Hopefully, I'll have the results for you guys in a video soon. So, anyways, so I think it's time for me to go. Let me just give you guys the link here again. Yeah. Yeah, here it is. I mean, I know I'm like opening myself up because, I mean, come on, David Portnoy, he has a huge account and he has a huge following and everything. I just really feel strongly that some of the things that he's been saying today are a little irresponsible. So I would like him to see that video and maybe consider about what sort of responsibilities he has in when he talks to people. I'm going to bet that he doesn't care, but I can try. So there's that link. I'll give that to you guys. Go give that a watch and spread it around. Make sure he sees it. And I think we're going to do a stream on Sunday, a fun stream on Sunday. You guys will, if you're subscribed to the channel, you should see it scheduled. So get there. When it says before speculator Seth signs off, please hit the like button and the channel note. Seth, well, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do it at 2 p.m. anymore because we posted that David Portnoy video. So we're gonna do it on Sunday. Are you trading Monday? No, but I'll be around. I will be around. Okay, kids are here. It's time for me to go. I will see you guys Monday then. So I'll see you Sunday. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.